All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Frame by Frame. Yeah, you may have noticed no intro today. And if you're watching on YouTube, no fancy backdrop or our overlay. This is because you're watching a pre-recorded episode. I've been busy in July. I'm traveling a lot, so I won't have time to record the podcast. So we're doing a pre-recorded thing here today. So it's a quick, short episode, just so we don't leave you guys hanging for the entire month. So this month you'll probably be seeing a lot of these. But yeah, joining me today, as always, is my lovely co-host Brandon. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Today's been a okay day, nice and warm outside. How have you been, Amaan?
Not too bad, not too bad. Busy with family. I'm here for the summer. Going out, spending time with family. So yeah, enjoying it a bit. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to going back to Michigan. I kind of miss my setup, my gaming monitor, my PC. And yeah, looking at your setup behind you kind of makes me envious. I don't have my setup with me. But yeah, you'll see it one day. Sometime
It
in
would take a lot
September.
to just drag this with me everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't just, hop on a plane and take my shelves with me. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyway, today let's talk about some news. So there's been one major news topic we can say. So there's an exclusive report from The Wrap, which basically confirms that Marvel Studios will not be attending the Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year. Obviously, this is kind of a shock considering a lot of the insiders were hyping up this year's San Diego Comic-Con for Marvel, especially because there are supposedly a lot of changes compared to the slate they released last year because of the writer strike, all the delays, everything that's going on with the actors. So apparently the slate is apparently looking very different right now. To what it was originally revealed back last year, around this time last year. So I
Yep.
was really
I
looking
think
forward to
things
seeing.
pushed around already.
Yeah, so but apparently Marvel won't be attending San Diego Comic-Con this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, Marvel could do what they want when they want. If they're not
Hmm.
attending San Diego Comic Con, they could essentially pull a D23, uh,
Yeah. That's what
do a
that's what I was
small
thinking.
small conference by themselves, or they're just gonna merge everything in with D23 and just do their whole slate with everything that's coming because of how big they are with the synergy with Disney. It's kind of forthright and coming. It's been in the stars for a while, to be honest. That we're looking at San Diego Comic Con, kind of like on our other channels. If we talked about E3 and how that's just
Hmm.
kind of gone
Yep.
now, because everybody's doing their own thing. Everyone's gone
Right.
virtual. They don't need a stage anymore. So I
It's a
could
lot cheaper, I
see.
would say. I guess
Oh
not
yeah,
having, yeah.
yeah. You're not paying a convention floor X amount of dollars just to have all of your stuff plastered, and you have to do everything pre. Then why not have your own stuff like what everyone else does? So Marvel very well could do an all around system where you we could see more comics from Marvel, more video game stuff that they're announcing, and on top of that, our movies and shows. And I know, yeah, I'm not going to date today's episode, so I won't say anything. Um, but yeah, I can see Marvel doing something with D23, or
Hmm.
just popping up for a 2 hour broadcast for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think they're saving everything for D23, but I do think San Diego Comic-Con might have decided not to attend this year because of the ongoing Writers Guild strike. So yeah, I think that I hope it's just this year they're not attending because there's just something about San Diego Comic-Con and that Hall H panel. Every time I watch those recordings of people reacting to everything that's been announced or revealed, I just get goosebumps, especially last year when they
Oh yeah,
announced Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, people were going wild in the crowd. And yeah, sometimes having those actors come out. Tom Hiddleston came out in full Loki costume once. Dwayne The Rock Johnson last year came out in a full Black Adam costume. Well, obviously, Black Adam obviously not
oh
as
yeah.
popular as Loki, but there's just something special about those. But I feel like this is kind of the perfect segue into our next topic, which is the DCU and James Gunn. And James Gunn has come out and said multiple amount of times that he is a massive fan of the San Diego Comic-Con Hall H panel and everything they do there. So do you think DC is the DC Universe and James Gunn are gonna pounce on this opportunity, seeing okay, Marvel's not attending, let's go there and take the big stage and announce some big things?
I don't know. I think when I think James Gunn, I don't think like Feige level attention. Like I'm
Mhm.
here and I'm gonna bring out all these celebrities, march them out, and then show you a giant slate in the background of everything we're doing for
Mhm.
the next 5 years. I see James Gunn as like the panelist.
Okay.
He'll be there, maybe with a couple people that he trusts, some of his big names that are going to be part of his universe. Maybe just doing a panel. Or I don't see him going at all. Like he would be going in one way or another. He might not
Mhm.
be as grandiose or lavish as the stage age, but I can see him being there and maybe talking about some future upcoming projects, giving us a
Now,
little bit of a slate of a
yeah,
timeline.
I disagree with that a bit because if we look at probably Guardians of the Galaxy, they have been present at Hall H before. And last year as well, James Gunn was there. He got on the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. And then Chukwudi Iwuji, who plays High Evolutionary, he came out in
Yep.
full costume and, he did his little monologue. So I feel like James Gunn might, now that he's the big guy at DC, he's writing the new Superman movies, directing it. And right now, they're really close to casting a Superman. James Gunn confirmed in a tweet that they're doing screen tests with various different actors. So I think by that point they'll have a Superman decided, and I
Yeah.
think at that's where because the big rumor this year was Marvel's going to announce the Fantastic Four casting. Well, Marvel's not attending. James Gunn goes there and he announces a Superman cast. I think that could
Yeah.
be a cool twist. I don't know how likely it is. Again, I can see a world where DC decides to skip it as well because of the Writers Guild Association strike. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Like, James Gunn coming in with a Superman cast.
So I can see this. I can see it in both ways. But then we have to look at whose influence was it? Was that Marvel's influence to have Feige there to be their
Mm-hmm.
front runner to showcase? Was it so high on their agenda to have that section, that time frame, and then to showcase all their stuff? And because we really haven't seen, like, even without James Gunn at the helm, DC's never really been like showboaty.
Yeah.
Like they'll throw up trailers, they'll have panels and stuff like that to discuss what's going on. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe James will come out and just be like, "Yep, here's our Superman, full gear." We'll get to see what he's planning, whether it's going to be nice, comically accurate, or if it's going to be a futuristic tone. Are we going to be getting a prequel style, or are we going to skip Origins altogether? Because, God
I
damn,
think we're skipping Origins. I think that's already
so
confirmed.
overplayed.
Yeah, but it's confirmed they're skipping the origin and that Clark Kent is already Superman and he's working at the Daily Bugle. This is confirmed from
Okay.
the announcement video he did last year at the start of it.
Yeah.
Basically saying he's the head of DC. These were the things he mentioned. So yeah, I think we won't be getting a origin story.
Good. I get it. Some people need the origin stories to understand the characters, but then again, these characters have been been around twice my lifetime over.
Yeah. I mean, there's a very low possibility that there's someone who hasn't watched any Superman movie in their lifetime at all.
Yeah.
At the very least, they watch some animated content or Smallville at the very least. So they're familiar with the character. And
They
again,
could have seen anything on the CW,
yeah,
the
exactly. And
Arrowverse.
does Superman really need an origin? You can explain his entire origin story in one scene in a movie, saying, "Oh, in a dialogue where you can mention, oh, I'm an alien. I crash landed on Earth. Done." That's basically
My
it.
parents live in Kansas.
Yeah, that's basically it to a story. And
Yeah.
oh, and then they jump to him being in Daily Bugle, working there, balancing his life with Lois and being Superman and working in Daily Bugle and all that,
Yeah.
which is most likely what we're gonna jump into. So yeah, I think most people are familiar with him. If you're going to watch a Superman movie, unless you're really young, and haven't experienced the character before, most likely you have interacted or experienced the Superman
And
character in one way or another.
even if you're young, the parents are bringing that kid to that movie so they can show
Exactly.
them this is one of my favorite heroes, and they already
Hmm.
have that rundown. Like I can say the same thing. Like I know today's a DC episode, but my son got me this awesome mug for Father's Day. It
Oh,
says "Best Dad Ever,"
oh
and
man, the
then
Marvel
on the
theme.
other side,
Uh-huh.
it's
Oh, that's awesome.
the Hulk and Spider-Man with our names underneath it. So like he's 4. He already knows his favorite character is Miles Morales.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Spider-Man and everything that they do. He loves Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, all of them. And I will eventually take him to his first movie. But and that's it. We as nerds, film nerds, TV geeks, everybody, we are going to educate our families and know when they get to that theater for that first time, they're going to know who they are.
Yeah, for sure. I
And I
agree with you
really
there.
think this is the age that we need to keep going. We don't need to see another 10 minutes of Bruce Wayne's parents getting shot.
Yep.
We don't need to see Barry Allen Barry Allen getting shot, shocked again, hit by
Mm-hmm.
lightning.
Yeah, we
Uh,
don't need to see Super Spider-Man being bitten again. We don't need to see the Fantastic Four experiment going wrong again.
no,
Yeah, it's very
they
self-explanatory, you know. It's very simple and you don't really need to waste around 20 to 30 minutes of the movie setting up
no.
these characters. And yeah, I agree with you there. But yeah, our segue into our next topic or more a little more speculative. What movies would we as fans like to see in the James Gunn's DCEU? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 movies each. And yeah, this is just wish list. Go wild with your speculations. What you want to see as a fan. Doesn't really have to be realistic. So yeah, Brandon, what's the first movie you'd like to see?
I'm going to preface this. None of mine are going to be realistic at all. But
Mm-hmm.
going with James Gunn's track record on the way he did Suicide Squad, the way he built
Mm-hmm.
villains out, my movies are all mostly going to be based around the different franchised villains.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would love to see a Brainiac movie.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's very interesting choice. I did not expect that. So
But
like
but
sort of setting up the origins of Brainiac, and then he could be like a big bad in a Justice League villain in a Justice League movie.
that's
That's
see
interesting.
that's the kind of origins I like is when you're looking at it in a different aspect. We know the heroes. We know everything about them and their origins. We know, granted, they're primary villains as well. We know Lex Luthor's beginnings. We know the
Mm-hmm.
Joker's beginnings. We know I want to say Wonder Woman's. We know some of Cheetah's background. We know Ares as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was going. I was forgetting God of War. But like some of the major villains, like Brainiac is Ultron on steroids.
Yeah, Brainiac
Like,
is such an interesting character, and I feel like there's a whole history behind him, and it's more of a personal villain for Superman because of his Brainiac's history with Krypton and all this.
yeah.
I think that would make a really interesting villain. Back to Marvel here for a second. I would I would really
DC,
like to
DC, DC,
see.
Marvel.
Yeah, I would really like to see a Doctor Doom movie. I don't know. I just had that idea in my mind as you're talking about Brainiac. I would love to see a Doctor Doom movie. We've never really gotten a faithful adaptation of Doctor Doom. I want to see the Doctor Doom that's the leader of Latveria. That Doctor
Yeah,
Doom who's not necessarily a straight out evil guy, but more he's gonna do anything for his country. He's gonna do whatever it takes to for his people. And I want to see more of that. That dictator Doctor Doom, which not really a dictator, more of a leader, but he would quite literally do anything for his country.
yeah.
But yeah, I want to see that. But yeah, I just had that mind totally off topic. But yeah, Brainiac, very interesting choice. I did not expect that. Mine are way more realistic than yours. Like, but by the idea, by the sort of vibe I'm getting from your first pick. But my first pick is Green Arrow. We
Alrighty.
never we never got a good Green Arrow. I know the CW Green Arrow has a fan base, but that's just Batman reskinned, for being honest. That is not a Green Arrow if you really look at it that way. Green Arrow is more of a Tony Stark type of character, I would say. He's very witty in the comics. And yeah, I think he has a decent rogues gallery. He had the Arrow family, with Speedy, with Arsenal, Artemis, all these characters, and now recently in the comics, Peacemaker is part of the Green Arrow family. So it's I think he's a really interesting character. And yeah, a Green Arrow and Black Canary movie in a similar to Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that
Yeah.
would be a cool a cool something different for the DCU instead of just having another Batman movie. I know we are getting a Batman movie, but that's more of a Bat family movie within the Brave and the Bold, with Batman Brave and the Bold. So
Yep.
yes, to sort of have that, espionage thriller sort of movie in there because they're sort of doing every genre. I think Green Arrow would be a decent pick.
I'm gonna fight you a little bit on that. I actually am a fan of most of the CW stuff.
Okay.
Um, I he's not to me. He was not a reskinned Batman.
Why?
He lost his parents later. First of all, his
Mm-hmm.
whole thing was party boy as an adult, not 6-year-old parents shot in an alleyway on a bad burglary. He got stuck and lost on an island. He had to fend for himself and learn from what was there and who was
Mm-hmm.
able to help him. Then, yes, he was technically kidnapped and thrown on missions to hone different skills, but then he finally made his way back home where he was able to see his parents. Then, yes, his father gets gunned down, and eventually his mother does too, leaving him as an adult orphan. But that happens to a lot of people.
No,
Start with
by
same contrast
reskin
with Stark.
Batman.
Stark lost his parents later.
No, when I say reskin Batman, that's not what I mean. The vibe I get from Stephen Amell's Green Arrow is when he's going on, a mission or in a general episode, he
Yeah.
puts on that voice, that he puts on that
Oh,
Batman
that's
voice.
stupid
Yeah,
gravelly voice. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
And he's just more of a, gritty character. He's not really Green Arrow. Green Arrow is more witty, I would say, more witty
Yeah.
than gritty. So
Yeah.
that's
The
what I'm
true
saying when
Oliver
I want
Queen. Okay.
more faithful adaptation of Oliver Queen. And I want to see that friendship of Oliver Queen and Barry Allen. I think see that's one of the good things, the better things the CW DC universe did. The friendship between Barry Allen and Oliver Queen. I'd like to see
Oh
that
yeah.
in live action. And yeah, I think Green Arrow's a very underrated character, and if utilized properly, he has a decent rogues gallery, and a decent, a gallery of sidekicks, you can say. And yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see a Green Arrow movie. What's
I
your
love that
second
you say
movie?
that because Green Arrow is my actual favorite DC hero.
Really? Oh, that's
Yep.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the same thing. It's the quips. It's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just his whole mannerisms about himself and how he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take himself too seriously. And just he's an archer
Yeah.
with trick
Mm-hmm.
arrows. He's a slightly upgraded Hawkeye because he's got the boxing glove.
Yeah. But yeah, what's your second pick?
See, I was gonna go with Arrow's Rogues Gallery for my second pick.
Mm-hmm.
Heatwave and
Deathstroke?
Captain Cold.
Captain Cold. Ooh, Heatwave and Captain Cold. That's an interesting combo of a sort of buddy cop but villain sort of
I
movie.
mean, it worked in the CW because they were hand in hand, and I
Mm-hmm.
I honestly do think that both actors were in a different show together. Prison Break.
Oh yeah, they were Prison Break. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they were in Prison Break. Mm-hmm.
So they already had the chemistry that came with the synergy that they had in the
Mm-hmm.
show, and just taking that to the next level and having like again like I like the villains. I like villain backstories, and it's just we got Flash villains now. I got a Superman villain for Brainiac, then we got Flash villain
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
with Captain Cold and Heatwave, and like yeah, I'd go Captain Boomerang, but that's the Aussie side of me.
Right.
I just there's something about those two in that power set that's just so good. Like Captain Boomerang can't really stop Flash that well with boomerangs, but
Right.
Captain Cold just
He
freezes
can
things.
freeze them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Freeze the floor, no friction, Flash, boom, wall. Heat wave, he just turns it up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
melts
Yeah.
things.
I think.
All that like
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting pick. It could sort of be like a buddy cop movie with Heatwave and Captain Cold.
yeah.
I'd like to see something different than what we got in the CW.
Oh
Just
yeah.
because, yeah, I would like to see something different. We've already got that. But yeah, I think it could make for an interesting movie with, we could have a Green Arrow Flash present in the movie. but it's through the perspective of Captain Cold and Heatwave.
Yep.
Again, I don't think this is ever gonna happen, but yeah, it's a very interesting concept, and I think it could. I think it's more likely we get something like this in a TV show,
Yeah.
um, where they could pick a character like Flash, and each episode is about his rogues gallery, but through their perspective, and they're fighting Flash, more of Flash fighting them. But yeah, I think that's an interesting concept. But number two for me, is John Constantine. I
Okay.
know we got the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. That's not John Constantine. I hate to break it to you. That's just Keanu
It
Reeves who does
it is
magic.
not Constantine. It's
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves as
it's Keanu
Constantine.
Reeves as a dark
Pretend
magician.
he's
Yeah,
cosplaying John
yeah, it's a
Constantine.
cosplay. But my entire setup just collapsed. But yeah, that's what I think of Keanu Reeves Constantine. But yeah, I'd like to see a dark, gritty, rated R John Constantine movie. Straight out of the Hellblazer comics. All the dark stories they have in there. I think there's a whole archive of them. All the dark, scary, sort
Yep.
of creepy stories within there. I think if James Gunn, because James Gunn has said they're gonna have R-rated movies, they're gonna have comedy movies, a bunch of different genres. They're gonna have animated shows, video games, all tie into the same universe. So I think that's a really interesting concept, and having John Constantine be an R-rated movie, and yeah, just a guy from
Kind of
Liverpool.
have to.
Yeah,
When you're
it's just a
talking
guy from
demons and
an exorcist from Liverpool,
yeah.
sort of exploring these dark, you can say, magical things going events happening around. Doesn't have to be large scale world ending threats, just grounded
No.
scary stories. And yeah, I'd love to see that.
Oh no, New Jersey's infested with demons.
Yeah, no.
Constantine. Yeah.
Yeah, something more of, there was this character from the Hellblazer comics. She was a girl, she was possessed, and he sort of goes inside her mind, and he sees all the horrors that are living inside of her. Something like that, something grounded, but something that really sends a chill down your spine. You know what I mean? So I'd
Oh yeah.
I'd, I'd like to see something like that with John Constantine.
You want to know my last one?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
It's a big one.
Oh, what is it?
Black Lanterns.
Ooh, like a Blackest Night adaptation?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that would be really cool. Because that's one of my favorite DC events, crossover events, if you from the comics. And yeah, it's not, I think that's quite realistic, because we
I
are
can
getting a Lanterns TV show to kick off Gunn's DCU. And that's sort of supposed to be a true detective style buddy cop show with Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, sort of exploring alien extraterrestrial activities on Earth, and they're supposed to lead into the grander story of the DCU. So I don't think that's too far off from reality.
see the what takes it away from the reality of what it is the aspect that I want from this movie is, yes, Black Lanterns, comics, everything. I want it to be the origin of the ring. I want it to
The
be how the Black
Mhm.
Lantern ring formed, where
Right.
the Black Lantern Corps really came up from before they started to lay waste.
Interesting. So more of like a sort of history of the Black Lanterns
Yeah.
rather than a Blackest Night adaptation. I get it. I
Well,
get
but
it.
it would
That's more.
lead into the
It
Blackest
it
Night
would lead into it.
adaptation.
Yeah, I get what you
It's
mean.
kind of like like I had a lot of people angry with me at the movie theater for Infinity War. Because when Thanos put the final stone in and then snapped his fingers and it went silent,
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, in the theater, because that's the moment.
Uh-huh.
And then they continued, and then everything happened, and I was like, oh, cool, I'm the bad guy now.
uh.
But like that kind of moment, like the end of the movie is that first black ring going on, and
Mhm.
then just that's it. And then that
Yeah.
leads right into a Blackest Night movie.
Yeah. I'd see the thing with Blackest Night is I really like that. I have the Blackest Night omnibus, the one DC published. I think it's a really cool story because there isn't really one central villain. It's more of, it goes to show,
It's
the
collective.
Justice League as a, the Justice League as a team. It's a deep dive into their personal relationships and how they're sort of trying to take down this Black Lantern set. So I think that's really interesting. I think that's something James Gunn could do, because if you look at it, in most of his movies, or you could say the Suicide Squad, the main villain is Starro. It's not really like a central figure. It's more of a
No.
story about the connection and this group of misfits coming together. So I could see something like that happening. And I know James Gunn likes to use little these weird characters as well. Ego the Planet was sort of one, you could say. And obviously Starro in the Suicide Squad. The Butterflies and Peacemaker. It's
Yep.
there isn't really a central figure who's a villain, but it's more of, there's a villain, but the story, it focuses more on the characters and how they combat instead of focusing on the villain.
Yeah.
So I think that's something James Gunn likes to do. And yeah, I don't think it's impossible in the DCU if it happens. But you want to know my last pick?
Yeah. What is it? What you got?
Batman Beyond.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of
All
the
right.
animated show.
Taking
I
it
mean,
further into the timeline.
yeah, I have no idea how this is gonna fit in or anything. But yeah, I just want to see a Batman Beyond movie. I love that animated TV show. And give me an older Bruce Wayne. Maybe bring Ben Affleck back. As the old Bruce Wayne, and have someone
Oh,
young
you
be
don't want to go
the.
Clooney? You don't want Keaton?
I could see Keaton, but after watching the Flash movie, I'd rather not.
Okay.
Yeah. Clooney. No, I don't want to go Clooney. Man, I can do a Bale. I can do a Bale, but I know you don't like Bale. So yeah, that's why I went for Affleck.
I can see
Uh,
Clooney being the angry old Bruce
I
Wayne.
can, but I just can't at the same time because of how goofy his movie was. I just can't take him
Yeah.
for a serious Batman. But yeah, that's why I went for Ben Affleck, because I think his Batman was more of that angered, serious, uh, dad energy. Yeah, he had dad energy to him. You could tell. So yeah, I would say Ben Affleck's Batman, be the Bruce Wayne, and have youthful energy, and Terry McGinnis. I don't know who they're gonna cast. Terry McGinnis, maybe Tom, not Tom. uh, but yeah, just someone young.
It's a
And just give
CGI
me.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. Or just bring back someone from the past. Like they
Yeah,
did in the
you know
Flash
what?
movie.
You could cast Casey Affleck. Give
Yeah,
him
you
his son.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his thing? De-age him through
Yeah.
CGI, because that's a trend right now.
It's a terrible
In the
trend, but it's a
Yeah,
trend
terrible
right now.
trend. I mean, don't if you think it's a terrible trend, do not watch The Flash. Just saying, do not watch The Flash. uh, but
I
yeah,
have to go
just a
see it,
question.
or I have to see it in one way or another.
But yeah, well, are you planning on watching it or in
I'm gonna.
theaters? You gonna?
I'm
All
gonna.
right.
Either I go. More than likely, it's gonna be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
The
But yeah,
wife goes
but
to see a Marvel movie.
by the time this episode comes out, you probably would have watched it. Yeah, but yeah, back to the topic. Yeah, I just want to see classic, something similar to the animated show, a Batman Beyond movie. Very simple. Give me futuristic, cool CGI, and a really cool costume, and yeah, I'll be happy. But yeah, those are my three picks. Any closing thoughts?
No, I think we have a good fantasy slate. If
Yep.
James Gunn ever sees this, I hope
Oh
that
yeah.
he picks at least one or two of the
Yeah.
six. I am an idea farm.
Mhm.
I can be
Yeah,
hired.
hire us. Hire us. We can come up with a solid plan for the future of the DC. But yeah, I'll make sure to tag James Gunn in our video. Hopefully he sees it. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you all for watching. I know this was more of an unconventional episode. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts on what movies you'd like to see in the DCU. Let us know in the comments down below. Like the video, to sort of help us up the algorithm. And yeah, guys, we'll see you later. Peace.
All right.